I'm Darren Demaree, and I'm going to be reading the opening arc for my next book, The Pony Governor, which comes out this July from After the Pause Press. Rip the sea, we have no sea. That's why he said all that. And with the slightest of intentions, we almost hate a moving body that doesn't exist. When the fog wakes up, it too worries about being consumed. But if you were born in the fog, you know that to dissipate is akin to wishing for a war and fighting only for the routine promise of a generous sun. We rose with vigor, with enemy, and when the veil was lifted with a minimal energy, he claimed to be the wind. More than 20 borders around the difficulty thing. I think he is a self-regarding translation of the animal. I think he is a frame of a picture of what good men can do with power. What I meant to say is that he knows how to describe the landscape as the lyrical equivalent of where the faithful shits exceed their own place. The steam rises. It's epic storytelling to hear him turn reality into believable myth. Every other Monday, unaware of the stairs we all climb and afloat with dim, fade, and dying wisps of blue righteousness, his heart, twice the size of a man's heart and a quarter the size of an actual horse's engine, revs to empty the Lord's tomb with questions, and he asks them over and over again. His faith learns to cloak. Twang the religious pivoting and tuning records of the rivers fleeing the land like it's crucial to be consumed everywhere, like they know they will be used to wash the single focus of the clotting agenda and ambient weapon stains that come with having two hands and zero eyes on a document meant to metaphor man into something more. That Bible, that beautiful fucking book of hope, its glory is always drowned when used by literal blackness. Blank flesh, costumed in stone walls and a blue suit, the same kind of suit we buried Robert Demaree in, and when we did as much, he held his lane the same as you, dear racer, governor of our quiet hearts, the beat only to echo inside your satin-lined state. I sing to rattle the dirt around the feet of those I love, and those I loved enough to cradle even in such passing times. This too will end, and hallelujah, hallelujah. All the other red and the robe-bound ecstasy that comes with claiming the field to be all crop when you're knee-deep in broken stalks and that field is owned by the faceless that have never put a bit of dirt in their mouth to test the readiness. I tucked a slug of here in thy cheek to write this poem. I did it to taste the distance from the land and whom you've offered it to. I had a lookout point. I've climbed down to name you, gelding, false prophet, robber of our women's safety, racist motherfucker, governor of the pale. I don't feel safe amongst those names or you hearing me say them, but this is my home, and I am no stranger to a good blood rising, and I am no stranger for being beaten for that. All those arms, they are coming for one of us. Polished singular, the distillation was never needed. All this beastly scene is normal. The simple swallowing is the window we've nailed shut with fear. It was just meat, we can claim, if we never examined the bite marks all over each other's arms. The tulip is tall because of the gravitas of beauty. You're taller than the tulips because you're a pony. Being born with mounting shoulders isn't enough victory to claim the garden as your own. Trample cautiously, please. I would sit with another's heart safely in my lap, and I would arch and bend my legs to keep it safe without ever touching it, without ever printing a single finger on a single throbbing, and it feels like that is your task. Why, oh why, are your hands covered in that red? Fat stars so flat against the flag of the blackberry-covered bloom, a pie as in a treat for two hands at a time. I have watched the feasting, I have eaten at the feasting, I have fought against the memory of that, but I was never selfish enough to bury my face in the process, to drape my frame in the berry with the fringe of the wolf edging in from the forest. You were faster than a wolf. I have to applaud that. The quiet in the ears is the culprit grazing on the crop's pledge. We are not to be sustained by the serenity of a seedless world. All of that growing, that terrific, epic season that is the inelegance of survival, that is human and pent to be bridled. You are not welcomed here. Foam up to roll and scatter? No. We are small bubbling because actual war in a state against the state gets you stashed away. We haven't disappeared. We have been taken in through osmosis to work this thing on a level quite cellular. No milk, no ox, no money, no box, no meadow, no rocks, no more, no flock. I have doubts about the smooth pew, the crackless asking for more faith after more faith. I am willing to sit on steel rods to ask even one question to one energy. How is your faith elegant and free of splinters? I see your fight as a kind of professional wrestling. I have brought cheap olive oil to clean your hooves, to treat them better than I treat your hide. I want you to be happy to move on. I want you, your slick exit, to be as comical as your entrance. I want to decorate you wholly with the attention of every eye, and I want you to run in that heat. Coming down to your chunk speech, the single light barreling through our weakness, like I imagine a general bent on destroying whole races of people behaves. It's not enough to get that squirm, or even the death of that freedom, or this freedom. It's about being constant on our throats. It's about reaching into our women and manipulating their blessing and their naming of those blessings. It's about your bad dialogue and your bad delivery and everything that your hands are doing. I'm awake, and that is why I'm screaming. That heaven, the smallest I've ever heard described in detail, must be a singular lily, swept to clean constantly, and run by the translation of the translation of the translation of the language of a God not willing to swallow so many sons and daughters, but willing to plant them to never grow. That heaven sounds like a terrible place, and I wish you would stop talking about it. The flash is not a lifting of darkness. It's at best a moment of perfect carelessness where the holders of the light are bragging about what you can't see them doing. I take pictures of it. I see a noose. I see a weeping woman. I see a large group of calloused hands and exhausted teachers and bullied minorities, and I see the rest of you judging evil like a monkey. It's a standard, boring conquering of the spirit. It's awful enough that I used to love that darkness more.